Hey kids, this is Aaron from the podcast that wouldn't die, and Kevin and I use Zencastr. You think you're better than us, that you're using something else? You're wrong. Zencastr's the place to be. Who are you to deny it?
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code DIEHARD and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time for you to share your story.
Only a fool would give up a chance for a 30% discount.
You can call me sentimental, I don't care. I have beautiful friends, I have a wonderful new family. So what do you think? Can we give this little guy a home?
Sure.
That's my girl.
He's a wonderful man, and he wants to care for us. I don't know. There's just something about him.
Oh, that guy in Bellevue that killed his whole family. Cut him up with knives.
Maybe they disappointed him.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
How do you?
This week, we're discussing...
That was a long pause.
Yeah, my phone started vibrating. This week, we're discussing the horror classic, The Stepfather from 1987, starring Terry O'Quinn and Jill, and I always mess up her last name, Skolin? Unclear. We've done movies with her before, and I always butcher her last name.
Cutting class.
Cutting class. And I didn't even mention the forgotten Charlie's Angel, Shelley Hack, is in this as well.
Absolutely.
So it's an all-star cast is what I'm trying to say. People whose name I can't remember and actors I don't remember what I've seen them from. Anywho,
and when we say Charlie's Angels, we're referencing the series from back in the day, not the movie franchise.
That's correct. Back in the 70s, there was a popular private eye show called Charlie's Angels and briefly starred Farrah Fawcett, who you probably don't remember if you don't remember Charlie's Angel. Let's be honest. Jacqueline Smith, who you may remember from Target, her clothing line.
I thought it was Kmart.
Oh my! You're absolutely right. Not Target.
Wish it was Target.
She wished
Kmart, R.I.P.
Oh God, help us! And
maybe Walmart brought it. All the marts merged into something.
Then, and Kate Jackson was the third one.
That's
Farrah
right.
quit after one season because she was far too big a star. Although, like I said,
Pam Anderson before she was Pam Anderson.
Correct. But it's one of those things. She left the show, and then what did she do?
Yeah,
that's the question.
They have men in their ears, partners, not agents or anything, but whoever they're dating is giving them advice. That
Lee Majors.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Lee Majors. Tommy Lee Majors that pretty much f***ed up their career.
So, Farrah Fawcett quit the show, and she was replaced.
No, Farrah Fawcett was in that sci-fi movie that we did.
Saturn 13.
Saturn 13.
Correct. She did some other things. She did like
the burning bed.
The burning bed. Right. She did some things, but it wasn't like
not much.
Right.
Yeah.
She was replaced by Cheryl Ladd, playing her sister Chris. And Cheryl Ladd was, I argue, foxier than Farrah Fawcett, if I'm being honest.
Just a different look. They were all beautiful.
All beautiful. A few years later.
Hack, not quite the same level.
Here's the thing.
Still lovely.
Kate Jackson, at this point, was like, you know what? I'm supposed to be the star of this goddamn show. Why am I Sabrina? She was Sabrina the smart one. Which means
she was the smart one. That means the rest were dumb. And I named our cat Katie after Kate Jackson because she was so smart.
Is that true?
That's 100%. That is facts. That is science.
You say it means that the other ones were dumb. What it really means is Kate Jackson was about 5% less attractive than the other two. Is what it really means. So
Oh,
therefore, she's the smart one.
there's a
So
little glimpse inside the mind of men.
it's
Thanks,
true.
thanks for pulling back that curtain.
That's how we do. So she quit the show in a contract dispute because she thought the show sucked and her part wasn't as good. So she quit after demanding more money, and she was replaced for one season by Shelley Hack. I was going to say the star of The Stepfather, but let's just say an actor who appears in Stepfather. Okay. But audiences didn't like her. They said she sucked, so they fired her after one season and replaced her with Tanya Roberts.
Roberts, R.I.P. I think.
I think you're right. I think, yeah, she died, and the show died, basically. Like, there was one more season or so with Tanya Roberts, and then the show was canceled.
So Jaclyn Smith was the consistent.
Jaclyn Smith was there.
She was the very attractive brunette.
Very attractive. I mean, in a way, it's like, it always seemed in my mind that Jaclyn Smith was kind of overshadowed by whoever the blonde woman was to her left.
She was like the classy good looking.
Yes.
Versus the blonde girls were more kind of like the goofy
Correct.
but blonde.
Jaclyn Smith, a fox. Stone cold fox. Anywho, Tanya Roberts, you might remember from Night Eyes with Andrew Stevens.
I remember Andrew Stevens. I don't remember Night Eyes. Is that on our list?
She eventually was, actually, she was also in A View to a Kill with Roger Moore. She played the female damsel in the James Bond movie. And then later in her career, she was in That 70s Show as like the mom of the neighbor girl or something along those lines. It was on that for like a lot of the series. So
all right.
She was doing some stuff. Now, why did we take this bizarre bird walk? Well, let me tell you this, first of all. On the podcast That Wouldn't Die, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the horror and sci-fi genres. But you'll also discover bizarre bird walks into 70s pop culture from time to time. So buckle up.
Stream of consciousness podcasting.
100%. 100%. So what's going on with you, Aaron? What's the latest?
Yesterday I left the house and went to Ross and Trader Joe's. It was a very exciting day. And then I came home and watched Marathon Man and went to bed. How about that?
Whenever I throw it to you, there's immediately like a loud sigh. Aaron, you know I'm going to throw it to you. So maybe have a few anecdotes ready. It would be my advice.
Literally, like, since the 4th of July, I've had COVID, and then I've had just like 2 weeks where I just wander around and do
the streets.
I'm wandering. And the streets. It's like 100 degrees outside. I'm supposed to fix my sprinkler. I bought the piece 2 months ago. So right now, water just sprays out for like 20 minutes out of and this has been going on for 3 months. So my water bill is like $100, even though I have no grass in the backyard.
Not anymore, right?
So I have the cap, I have the glue. So maybe today's the day, or maybe today's the day I go to Nordstrom Rack. Who can say?
You have the part, just not the motivation. Is basically what
Not
it is.
sure. It's always the debate. Should I just call the handy dude? And I got a couple other things.
If all you're doing is changing a cap, that'll take you 2 minutes. And
I don't know. I don't know, because I have to take a piece off that's there,
yes,
which I'm sure is glued in. So I don't know. The only saw I have is like for hedges. Can I use that to cut PVC?
Unlikely. If I feel
like it's going to take me 2 hours, and it'll take the handyman 5 minutes.
Okay. And cost you $400.
And cost you $400, yes. And I have 2 fences that are not working, so each fence will be at $4,000. So all to just that cap.
What do you mean your fence is not working?
I had them replace the back fence.
Yes.
And it's not redwood. I wanted redwood, and they claim it was. But when it rains, it expands.
Okay.
So then the latch doesn't fit. And now in the middle of summer, where every day is 100 degrees, now it is contracted to the part where it doesn't latch again.
You mean the gate isn't working?
The gate.
Okay.
And then I have another gate to my front door where I had the handyman switch the things because it was leaning. So I had
Yes.
it switch which side has the fucking hinges,
Okay.
and that worked for a while, and now it's not working again. So I'm sure these motherfuckers are gonna say, "Guess what? You have to
Start from
rebuild."
scratch. Sweet Jesus. This is a horror movie.
It cost me $800 to do the back one. I don't
Dealing
want
with
that.
contractors is the most stressful event in your life because you're convinced on some level they're screwing you,
Yeah.
and there's nothing you can do about it. You
I'm
just gotta
fighting with
cross your
one
fingers.
handyman who keeps sending me bills, and I keep writing back to him, I think I already paid this like 5 times. And then in 2 months, I'll get another, we have not received payment. I'm like, motherfuckers, I've been, you keep billing me with the same $150.
Have you
since
paid
the
them?
dawn of
Have
time.
you confirmed that? You're like, I think I've already paid this.
I think the fact, but I've emailed them multiple times and they just don't respond.
I see.
So I'm not overly anxious about looking that up since you can't be bothered to even respond to me, except for sending me another bill.
This is riveting, by the way. Why don't we jump right in?
We dove off to the dark side. It's getting the end of summer, so now everybody's cruising back in town. So now everybody wants to go have cocktails and mini plates of deliciousness.
Well, that's nice.
So,
It's
and I'm
fun.
trying to save money and not get COVID again, because our cousin has COVID again.
Heather,
Yes.
sweet. Are you guys vaccinated? This is a hot button thing. You guys get your vaccines?
Yeah, they're getting rid of it.
They're getting rid
Trump
of.
Trump is getting rid of the vaccines. You understand that?
I heard it was like RFK was like, we're getting rid of a crucial component of all vaccines, which we call the vaccine part.
The vaccine. We're going to keep the infrastructure, but there'll be no vaccines.
They'll just give you a shot of just air right into your veins, which is deadly.
Right into your artery.
Right in there. Anywho, Aaron, give us your 30-second synopsis of The Stepfather.
Simple. It is the story of John List. With 3
Yes.
seconds into the movie, I was like, "Is this motherfucker John List?" And I had to refresh myself because it's been a while. But I remember watching this on America's Most Wanted back in the old days when you always watched America's Most Wanted, looking for your neighbors, followed by Cops, which is very problematic. And good old Bakersfield, guess who's filming with the sheriff? Our deadly sheriff.
Cops?
Cops. Yep, they signed a contract. Can't wait.
So what is it all
And I
about?
looked it all up. Absolutely. And I watched the miniseries from back in the day starring also murderer Robert Blake.
Oh, shit.
Plays John List.
He's drawn to the topic, evidently. So who's
Exactly.
John List for people who don't know, Aaron? What is
So
it about?
John List, who is all over the internet. So John List is this guy who, so for the reason is financial problems in the family, and the children, they're not respecting it anymore. They're falling away from God. Decides to just kill his family. So he killed his wife, he killed all his children, and he killed his mother, who was living in the attic apartment. And split town, changed his identity, and remarried. 17 years later is featured on America's Most Wanted. Boom.
Somebody
Found
recognizes it.
remarried with kids. And the miniseries kind of implies like things were getting out of control again, and maybe it's time to recreate.
It's interesting because I looked that up too, but some sources say that the movie actually came out 2 years before the Unsolved Mysteries episode aired.
Well, they just knew.
John
Walsh knew. John Walsh knew.
Walsh.
Well, and the tragic thing, if it is really a financial issue in his mind, it turns out that the stained glass in their ballroom in their mansion is Tiffany and Company. It was worth over $1 million.
Well, what they said was, and again, this is the real story, not the movie, that
Right.
they lived in a mansion.
They lived in a fucking mansion. He dragged the bodies all into the ballroom.
Correct. He basically, and the issue was, the business where he worked shut down, and he was laid off. And he was so ashamed that he'd get up, get dressed, and go look for work all day. Wouldn't tell anybody that he'd been laid off for however long, for months.
Right.
For months, until like money basically was nowhere around. And to make things crazier, when he killed them one at a time, his last son was playing in like a football game or something. And he went and watched,
I think.
soccer.
He was watching the game, picked him up, brought him home,
And then killed
that's the
him
one
too.
who fought him back.
Right.
Everybody else, he snuck behind him and shot him in the head.
Cranked up the air conditioning in the house, left all the lights on, took all the photographs of himself from the house, so that later
this
when
was
they were
not spontaneous. This is very well planned.
He didn't want people, the newspapers or the police, to be able to put his photo in the newspaper and say, "Have you seen this man?" So he took all the photos of him from the house.
Canceled the newspaper subscription. I think they held the mail. Requested the mail be held.
Yes.
This was super premeditated.
Right.
Crazy. It's all the shame, I guess.
The shame.
I notice he doesn't kill himself.
No. We're not doing that. Well, and you've seen this before, where it's like somebody's in an unhappy marriage, and it's easier just to kill the entire family than just get a divorce.
How is that ever easier? That seems so physically demanding.
It's crazy.
Even if you remove the emotions,
right?
It seems so physically demanding. You could have just cleared out the bank account, or you could have just bounced, because killing your whole family didn't bring you any money. So you could have just ghosted everybody.
Absolutely.
You could have done everything you did
without murdering anybody.
Without murdering anyone.
Right. 100%. No, I mean, there's no rational explanation. Whenever they do these things, it's madness. But honestly, that's really not what this movie's about. I mean, the movie's not about the motivations, right? Because the movie starts with Terry O'Quinn having already murdered his first family or whatever. Right. And they never explain why he did it. Clearly, he's just crazy. That's what we're supposed to think, that he got a screw loose.
He has expectations.
Right. You're right. It's supposed to be an Ozzie and Harriet type family situation is what he's looking for. And I guess when it doesn't fit that, I got to just kill everybody and start over.
Yeah. You see him start to glitch. When things start to fall apart, he starts glitching out and is looking for the next family.
Right. Which was, that was a creepy moment. Let's go back. Had you ever seen this before?
No.
Had you ever heard of this before?
It's good. Oh yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen it. I thought it looked goofy, but actually it was pretty good. Honestly, it is so close to being almost like a documentary and less of a horror. I mean, it's like, this is John List's story if it was a cycle, because you can see it playing over again.
Right, 100%.
In the miniseries, it tried to make it look like things were glitching out at the second marriage.
But again, let's not mix up the documentary about the real person.
I'm just saying that's interesting.
If this was inspired by, it was just the kernel of a guy who murders his family and then changes his identity and joins a new family. Everything else is entirely unrelated. Just to be clear.
I mean, they use the idea that things were falling apart, that he has this I mean, they use all that. They even have the psychiatrist saying, "Oh, it sounds like your parents must have been very strict." They were trying to drop in some little pearls of background.
We got to talk about this. Yeah. So I had heard of the Stepfather movies, and I think I had said briefly I had seen parts of Stepfather 2. But I had never seen...
Which makes no sense, because, spoiler, at the end of this movie, the daughter shoves a knife directly into his heart, although he was alive way too long, and Shelley Hack shoots him like 3 times.
Correct.
Is he RoboCop? Is he Stepfather?
So I saw parts of Stepfather 2. Not enough to really know what it's about. I guess the evil stepfather. I knew that much. I only saw the first one probably like 6 months ago. It was on Joe Bob. And at that point, so that's what's funny. When I started to see Terry O'Quinn and other things, I always was like, that's the stepfather. I know that's the stepfather.
And I've seen him in other things, but I never saw Lost.
Well, because he was in Tombstone briefly. He was just kind of in things.
Wait, Tombstone, the series?
There's no such. Is there a series called Tombstone?
Oh, that's Deadwood. Never mind.
I'm talking about the movie with Doc Holliday,
I didn't
Val
see
Kilmer,
that.
and the whole thing. Not a big part, but he's in it. He's like, I think he's the mayor of Tombstone or something.
I mean, honestly, that's 1,000 years ago.
For you, for me, it's just like yesterday. Let's jump right in to the highlights here, Aaron. You got anything?
Dude, first of all, the young actress who plays Stephanie's voice is so irritating. Yet, it doesn't stop her from getting horror movie things.
So not the character, the actress is what you're saying.
I would like to make a nod to, this is clearly an 80s, because you've established this is a 16-year-old, so it's important that you show her naked in the shower. What the And Terry O'Quinn, we got to see him, that he's got one of those 70s wide asses because he's been laying in the sun. I think we even saw a bit of the peen.
You absolutely saw the bit of, because you think it's just a butt shot, but then he walks by the medicine cabinet.
You got to make a turn.
Right, you can see it in
both of them.
Yes. Dingle, dangle, dingle. Yeah.
Good Lord. I'm like, we're supposed to be seeing 16-year-olds naked, and it's an alluring way. They made sure you gotta scrub those boobs up, because that's the dirtiest part of your body.
It was her first, last, and only nude scene in a movie, and she was hesitant to do it. She was like in her 20s at the time. She was.
Yeah.
This wasn't Lolita. But
it's implied that she's 6. I mean, it's not implied. Stated she's 16.
She's
so
a high
this
school
is
student.
Inappropriate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the idea being is the director convinced her is it's just like, when you're in the shower in these moments, you're in the most vulnerable position you can be in. Is the idea. So therefore,
I understand that. So shoot me like fucking what's her name in Psycho, where I'm clearly nude, but you clearly see nothing.
Fair. I'm not going to argue with that. I mean, it's not like, it was necessary for plot development to have her bathe herself for 20 minutes.
It's just creepy when she's supposed to be 16 years old. So let's get a nude shot.
I agree. It was a different time. She's just 16 years old.
Leave her alone, they say.
Let's just say in the 80s, it was frowned upon, but not exactly. You're like, no, you can't do that. In the 80s, it's like, please. Anywho, moving on. Woody Allen had a whole movie where his girlfriend is a high school student. He was like in his 50s at the time. Manhattan. Have you seen this one? And he would joke about
100 years old, but he was clearly paving a way there.
Absolutely. Well, it wasn't even like, oh, this is a horrible thing. It was just kind of a joke. He's like, I can't believe I have a girlfriend who has homework to do at night. Ha ha ha. That's a Woody Allen joke. Yes.
Remember that in The Office with that character who I hate? Who's the guy who always sings? They go to the high school.
Ed Helms or whatever?
Ed Helms. They go to the high school to sell paper or something, and he runs into her like, what's she doing? What's my girlfriend doing here? Is she a teacher? No. She works at the frozen yogurt place. And Jim thinks it's one of the teachers, and it's like the little girl with the hoodie and the trapper keeper. Uh-oh. Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud.
That's hilarious.
Very creepy.
Okay, the movie kicks off with Terry O'Quinn with a crazy head of hair and a crazy beard, already looking like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Right? And splattered with blood. And it's him cleaning himself off, cutting his hair, shaving, throwing away all of his old
clothes. It looked like Brolin from Amityville.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then he walks out the house and there's just bodies. Just the house, like bloody handprint. And the last shot as he's leaving is you see like a little girl dead on the floor. He killed like 6 people. or
Yeah.
some shit. Just bodies
I
piled
like
everywhere.
the fact they had him like picking up the toys on his way down.
Yes.
So that's a big shock between him, Tidy, and you knew something bad had happened because he was covered in blood. But then he gets out of the shower, he does his hair, and then he starts picking up the kids' toys and calmly is putting them back in the toy box. And then you come home downstairs to the carnage on the way out. You don't even see it till you're on your way out. You're like, oh shit.
Right. 100%. So some shit went down, and then it's like a year later. Smash it.
Yeah.
A quick year. He's now married to someone else. He works as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And the primary friction of the movie at the beginning is that the teenage stepdaughter is having a tough time because I guess the dad died a year ago.
Yeah. Normal teenage, my daddy died, and now I got a new stepdad who seems evangelical.
That's what it is. Because it's the desire of, he often says shit like, a home is for a family. You want to go away to boarding school? We don't want to break up our family. It's all there. Like, it's this
The
focus.
family.
The family. The family. Do you know what's funny? Growing up, I remember Dad talking about like the family unit. The family unit. Do you know what that's from? That term, the family unit?
Tell me.
It's from frickin' the Coneheads on Saturday Night Live. That sounds
it's gonna come from before that. Shut your mouth.
No, it was his weird conversation. Our family unit.
Do you believe our father saw the Coneheads?
Yes, I believe it. To the
that
depths of my
never
soul.
happened in your whole life.
So you think it's just a bizarre coincidence?
Dude, that term has been around forever. That's where the Coneheads got it.
Wrong.
I defy you.
I defy you. How about that?
Reject.
Anywho, but she's not just having a hard time. She got expelled because she's getting into fights in the art class and shit.
Exactly. Nowadays, it would have been on Dr. Well, not nowadays. In 2000, she would have been on Dr. Phil.
The funny thing is, she would go to therapy, and she had seemingly a nice relationship with her therapist, who was a little too informal for my taste, if I'm being honest, right?
That looked like it was going on. You could see why she'd be drawn to him, because clearly she's seeking a father figure. This is now her father. So you can see where lines, you can always see if this continued, lines were going to be crossed. And they were crossed when he invites the fucking stepfather, pretends he wants to see the house.
Yes.
How come you're not talking to her mother if you're concerned about the stepfather?
That was nuts. Because you're right. Every therapy session is bitching about her stepfather, essentially.
Right.
Who, up to this point, now later in the movie, there are definitely some red flags, but early, he's just a little too strange for her in terms of how Ozzie and Harriet. Is that even a reference that people would even recognize, Ozzie and Harriet?
Here's the magic. Even though it was in reruns when I was a kid, who watched Ozzie and Harriet?
Leave It to Beaver? Would that be a more appropriate reference? Also, from Mike Brady? How about that one? Bill Cosby?
A traditional family. It's a traditional family where all you need is family. But we were pulling those whammies. It's Christmas Day. No, you're not going to go meet with your friends. It's Thanksgiving. No, you're not peacing out. Remember that?
Absolutely.
This is family time.
Absolutely.
Our parents are just a hair away.
I wasn't running to my therapist saying my parents want me to spend time with them on Christmas. That's a problem. But so that's what and he's like, eventually, because they read about in the newspaper, there's a whole subplot which goes frickin' nowhere about the brother of the wife that was murdered at the beginning has come back from the war or some shit. I don't know what he was in Europe.
Which war was he in?
Unclear.
The Cold War?
The Cold War. He's come back to obviously find his sister murdered, all of his nieces and nephews and whoever else. And husband gone. So he's trying to track down this dude. He's talking to the newspaper reporter like, hey, I know this a year ago. Why don't you rerun that article and see what pops up? Now, in the real story, which we talked about, John List moves from New Jersey to Colorado. In this movie,
they just move a ferry ride away in the same state.
Same city. It's still all like Seattle. It's just like on the other side of the sound or some shit.
This bothered me. So every day he'd get on the fucking ferry and go into the bathroom and apply makeup and a fake mustache. So every day, I mean, this is a commuter ferry. People aren't going to notice you got a mustache and different hair.
Well, that's later.
Every day.
That's later.
Let's get the out of the bathroom.
I have seasickness. Right. There's a whole thing going. That's later in the movie. But the point being is that he doesn't go very far. He murdered somebody in this area, and then he's like, a ferry ride away, and now he's set up shop in this other area.
And now he's setting up shop another ferry ride away.
That's later. That's later in the movie. And the way he changes his mind is crazy. It is crazy.
So the idea is he gets everything all set up.
Right.
Before the axe falls.
So basically, the bizarre subplot is the brother talking to the reporter, and then eventually the brother's just going door to door. Like he found out the new name. Does Jerry Blake live here?
All the people who are recently married.
That's what it was. Okay. Does Jerry Blake live here? I mean, he's going to. And then there's another scene where he goes to a door, and the person thinks he's a cab driver. Do you live here? Not for long. I'm out of here.
Not for long. I'm out.
Unrelated. We've never seen these characters before. And he's about to fight the guy.
It don't matter none.
Do you know who this man is? Oh, yeah, that's the guy who sold us this condo. Okay. I mean, does that prove something? I don't know. Well, I guess it proves something. Unclear what it all means. Anyway, moving on. So,
and pardon me, please. As a real estate agent, you're licensed. I don't know what's going on in Washington State, but in California, there's like screening because you're dealing with contracts and people's money. You don't just roll into town and now I'm a real estate agent. And then you roll up, now I'm an insurance agent. All these are regulated jobs.
That's true. That is
like, now I'm a doctor. Now I'm a teacher. Now I'm a neurosurgeon.
Do you have any anything?
Here's my resume.
Because it is later in the movie where he's like now going to start selling insurance. They're like, have you ever sold insurance before? Oh, yeah. Oh, they used to call me Mr. Insurance.
Mr. Insurance. You don't need that number. Don't look behind the curtain. Let's go.
So anyway, the whole brother thing, we'll talk about that in a minute. But so Stephanie is complaining to her therapist that she thinks, based upon this article, that maybe her stepfather could be the murderer guy. And that seemed like a stretch, because at that point, she hadn't really seen anything that would remotely suggest that, other than he's a stepfather.
Yeah.
Right? So it's bizarre. The therapist calls the house and wants to speak to him. And he's like, tell him I'm not here. And if he calls again, tell him I'm never here. His wife does not go like, why? What's up, bro? Why are you avoiding?
All these movies of this time, whenever a stepfather moves in, it's like the wives have turned their brains off and just hands over the raising of their children to these other people and cannot be involved. I would be screaming down the stairs, get up here. This is important. Take this freaking call. I'm sorry. He won't take the call. Can I come in? I mean, I would be livid.
This is the therapist.
I would be livid.
This is your troubled teenager's therapist saying, I need to talk to you about something. And you saying, I'm not taking this call. Clank. Makes absolutely no sense. It's
just bizarre. Like it makes no sense that he's the one who takes her to all her therapy appointments.
That's true.
You just see him creepily sitting outside in the car from their window, waiting for her.
Does the mom do anything? Does she have a job?
So she vacuums, I guess.
She does some vacuuming. So that's bizarre. That's bizarre on many fronts. And again, when the stepfather is saying, tell him I'm not here, there's really no reason why he would say that. right? He doesn't know anything. He doesn't think that the therapist suspects him of anything. He doesn't even know what the therapist looks like.
This is him just glitching a little bit. This is like the beginning of the glitching.
Bizarre. So the therapist takes it upon himself to pretend to be a prospective home buyer to meet the stepfather and have a conversation with him. And it's bizarre. It's bizarre because the therapist is saying shit to kind of trigger him. Like he's trying to get a reaction. He's like, I never had much use for a family. I guess that's good for some people, but I don't need that kind of crap. Am I right? Am I right?
Am I right? Yeah. It's ridiculous. And you know what else is ridiculous? They're showing, he thinks this is a prospective home buyer.
Yes.
Why are they showing the house in the pitch black? Every room is pitch black. I don't see people walking around turning on lights. What kind of shit is that?
Just wander around here.
Why would the house be in the middle of a remodel while it's for sale?
Right.
Wouldn't you buying the house want it to look the way you want it to look?
Correct. You'd think. I'm not a house flipper, so I'm not sure how it
And
works.
by remodel, there's just weird paper on the floor.
There's wallpaper hanging down, and then there's just planks of wood against the wall. Unclear. Are they rebuilding the wall? Why is there wood here? Unclear.
It's dumb stupid. And if you wanted to actually have a conversation with the dad, once you got inside, and you'd be like, okay, this is who I am.
Right.
Like he's trying to do some CIA check on this dude.
He is. Now I will say this: go ahead.
We haven't even discussed that this dude's a mandated reporter and has a client saying, "I'm frightened of my stepfather."
Well, that's why he's taking the law into his own hands. We've determined in every movie you never report it. You go in and handle it your own self.
Handle it your own self. That's what they always tell you.
That's the first line of the first page of the therapist handbook. Handle it your own self.
Yeah.
But I will say, what I was going to say is that when Terry O'Quinn starts murdering people, it kind of comes quick and unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Right? Because you'd think like if this was a rational person, this is an overreaction to murder this person. So he's talking to the therapist, and then he just casually turns around and grabs a log and then just beats him to death.
Well, because he knows he lied. So now he could be anybody.
Correct.
Because he lies, he says he's single, and then he talks about a wife. So click.
Right. 100%. You're right. He's like, who sent you? Who? If you beat him to death, he's not going to be able to tell you.
That's science.
That's fair. Now, that being said, if a guy is hitting you with a log, you can move away. You can even run away if you're so inclined.
That would be impolite.
You don't have to get down on your knees and say, let me help you out here, big guy.
If you could just hit me right in the back of the head, that'd
just
be okay.
One swift crack and we should be done. And what happens? He wraps the body up. I don't even know what happens.
They stuffed him in a car and lit it on fire and pushed it off a cliff. It wasn't. He didn't disappear. What do you mean? I don't know what happened to him. It was like you're not going to notice that the gas can is open. Who just slides off the end? I mean, there's going to be newspaper left in there. I mean, CSI is a bunch of bullshit, the TV show, but there was some science back then.
You're right, 100%. Now, that's the thing. Typically, cars don't automatically burst into flames when they run off the road. I mean, that's the other thing.
Nor do you get a mushroom cloud because my ex-husband accidentally caught my Jeep on fire and I watched it burn. There was no mushroom cloud. There was a pop. And that was about it.
No one was knocked off their feet or anything like that? No windows
nobody
exploding.
Was blown away, except for me, the fact that my beautiful car was now a melted aluminum cube.
Fair. So, at this point, homie is now like, I'm going to change my identity again. And now I'm going to go and I'm wearing a fake mustache half the time. I've bought a new home and I'm already hitting on the neighbor next door. Oh, is there a father in the house? No. If you know what I mean, big boy.
Would you like a father in the house?
He strikes while the iron's hot, no question.
Yes, I feel he is not a go with the flow kind of guy. He is not mentally equipped to deal with no or any kind of thing that has to do with actually being part of a family.
Right. He doesn't want to have to do anything. He just wants it to be all perfect and normal. And those are the fun scenes where he like goes down into his workroom.
Stepford was built for him.
100%.
If he could have Stepford children also.
He goes down into his little workshop and is just bitching and slamming shit and God damn it, what the hell? And of course, the stepdaughter Stephanie is like getting some cheese out of the fridge or whatever the hell she's doing. And she just hears him over there ranting and raving. Ah! Oh, sorry, hon. And he's good in this because he has those freaky breaks and then he kind of like collects himself and he's just like, oh,
dude, he is good in this.
He's really good in this.
Really, if you move bits and pieces of this, it could almost be like just a suspense movie versus a horror movie.
Yes.
I mean, this he could have been the guy who played John List, you know?
Well, and I think when they were making it, initially it was going to be kind of a psychological thriller.
Right.
And then they realized in this era, this is more of
more blood.
This is the slasher era, is what it is.
That's really what made the difference between a psychological thriller and a horror in this, and that is the blood. The blood, I think. And the repeat, because otherwise, I mean, this is right on the edge. It's right on the edge. Especially if we could have had some childhood flashbacks from him, you know. I mean, I like that they had the doctor. We're getting a little scratch on the surface.
A little scratcheroo. No, well, and that's the thing. It's like, ask yourself this. When you watch Silence of the Lambs, is that a horror movie?
Right.
It's
a thriller. To me, it's a thriller.
Right.
But, I mean, the definition of horror is that it's to scare you. And it is scary. So I would call it a psychological thriller / horror.
Well, what is it? It's like, I read something that talked about how suspense is when you see the bomb under the table, but the people don't see it. So you're, as an audience member, you're seeing the countdown and, you know, the tension is slowly building. And I guess that's kind of the difference. That's the thriller versus...
I mean, that's Psycho. You definitely see it before she sees it.
Yeah, it's true. Anywho, so he's got a new job. He quits his job at the real estate agency. He's got a new job as an insurance salesman. And he comes home, and that's where the shit turns. Because his wife is now suspicious of him. So she calls...
She's trying to get a hold of him. And calls him. They're like, oh, no. He quit like 3 weeks ago?
Something like that.
Something like that. Ago. And she's like, what? And of course, no cell phones then.
But what's cool is when she confronts him, does not break. He's like, it's that new girl. I'm going to call her right now and said... How hard is it to remember my name? And he gives the wrong name.
This is the best part right here is where he just glitches out.
He gives his new name that he's already started to adopt. And she's like, what? And he's like, oh, well, who am I here?
Exactly. It's like, it's the glitching Stepford wives.
Yes.
I've lost track of which story I'm in.
Right. I'm Jerry Blake here. And then turns around and just pops her with the phone. It
was so extreme. I was like, oh, shit.
And totally unexpected. That's what I mean. When he turns violent, it's just like, wow. I didn't see that because there's no buildup. It's just, I'm totally cool, totally calm, violence. Boom.
When this started off, I thought this was going to be ridiculous because he appears to be so nicey nice. I'm like, this is going to be irritating, but he does play it in a much more complex level.
Oh, no question.
This is not trash. I'll have to say.
When he's being...
Other people's acting may have been trash, but his is not.
When he's doing Father Knows Best, it's absolute sincerity. And when he's crazy psycho, also absolute sincerity. And he's able to bounce back and forth between these kind of personas, which I found, I was really very impressed by him.
It was I'm very impressed. And the best parts are those just moments when you see, he's glitching. He's having problems transitioning. That's when you know. You're like, oh, something bad going to happen.
Now, all that being said, there's what I thought was a hilarious scene where the brother is driving across town, like going off ramp, like
dressed like Serpico or something.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the hell.
Flying through there, skidding through traffic to get there just in time. Walks into the house, looking for him, turns around, and he sees his freaking brother-in-law. He sees the man who murdered his sister, and he goes, "Oh shit, it's you," and doesn't do anything. He's like, oh, hang on, let me get my gun. Really? You don't have your gun out?
Too late. You just got into a house uninvited, and you are not prepared.
He gets stabbed.
Oh yeah. The dude's like, hey, I can't remember what the brother-in-law's name is. Like, hey, and just walks up.
Right. He goes, oh, hey, Jim. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Bye.
Bye.
And then he's out. That was
it. That whole subplot over.
Gone.
That's the end. He was there just to supply the gun that drops out of his hand for somebody else to pick up and actually use. That was your contribution to the plot.
That is the only thing. Honest to God, they could have. Her ex-husband could have been a cop, and there could have been a gun stored away. His service pistol or his personal pistol is in the closet. There are other ways. I think it was to get the story generated. So it's more than the gun, because his pressure put the story in the newspaper. With Stephanie convinced that it was her stepfather, and then so she writes to the newspaper to get an 8x10 glossy of what the murderer looks like. Ridiculous. Which he intercepts. Shoves somebody else's picture in. But you would think she would be happy. For a while she was not. She was just like pissed that her father was not a murderer.
You're right.
And then for a brief moment, she turns it around after they got rid of the psychiatrist, and the whole house is happy until she gets a boyfriend. So like for a day and a half, all was at peace.
Correct.
She liked her stepfather, and then a boy kisses her, and he accuses the kid of trying to rape her.
That was so bizarre. That was
not as bizarre as Shelley Hack just slapping her daughter out of the blue. You're like, what?
She's a little bit of stepfather as well.
That should have been when your daughter got expelled from school. Where was that slap?
Right. She got expelled, and they were just like, oh well, whatever.
For
moving
fighting. On. Oh, poor little snuggle butt. You're just suffering.
So, and the last 10 minutes are kind of typical slasher movie fare, where you have naked Stephanie in the shower, being pursued by the stepfather, and then Shelley Hack appears from the basement, crawling up the stairs with the gun, and misses quite a bit, if we're being honest. But she does hit him once or twice.
She's had some head trauma.
Correct.
Her balance might be a little off.
Well, but then it's like, so he drops the knife that he was going to use to stab Stephanie. And now Stephanie is crawling on the ground. Why is she crawling on the ground now? I can't move either. Why? Can't you just get up?
Paralyzed. Help me.
Why are we all crawling? What is happening? So then she stabs the stepfather. Credits roll.
Dude. Yeah.
Good stuff. Any last
ridiculous
thoughts?
It's the usual slasher at the end. It's the usual slasher mistakes. You have a butcher knife, so let's make sure we stab him in the arm.
I thought it was like the armpit at one point. I'm like,
high special effects. Help!
Stab me right in the armpit.
He got my armpit, my lymph nodes.
She tries to hide in the attic at one point, and he just climbs up, and she shoves like a sled at him. Ah, you got me on the sled. And then he falls through the roof. It's like Christmas Vacation. It's a whole.
That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, it's like Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation.
Absolutely.
Without the beautiful music.
It's a horror story. Any last thoughts before we go behind the scenes?
Better than I thought, for sure.
Better than I thought, no question. Let's take a look at behind the scenes. Let's see. Screenwriter Donald E. Westlake based the character of Stephanie on his real-life teenage stepdaughter, who he was having difficulty with at the time.
That is fascinating.
Well,
Lord.
The good thing is...
A difficult teenage stepdaughter? What are the odds?
The good thing is she's the protagonist. It wasn't like it was the horror movie, The Stepdaughter. That would be more problematic.
Dude, where's that movie? I think we need that one.
The first draft of the screenplay featured flashbacks that helped explain Jerry Blake's abused childhood, which is instrumental in his becoming a killer. So
we could have used a little bit more of that.
I agree. Jill Schoelen did almost all of her own stunts for the climax, including the nudity.
I hope she got an extra $5-10 for that. Bless her.
5 or 10. The film takes place in the fictional town of Oak Ridge, Washington, located on the Kitsap Peninsula. Isn't that nice?
Interesting. That is interesting.
Entertainment Weekly ranked this as the 22nd scariest movie of all time.
I don't know if it's scariest. I'm definitely not having bad dreams. Well, no, maybe I did have bad dreams after I watched this. That's when I woke up and I had the dream that the doctor told me I needed licorice because my blood pressure was too low.
There's that licorice again.
Maybe it's snuck into my head, but yeah, it really reminded me of like an 80s true crime reenactment.
Absolutely. Originally, they wanted Jerry Blake to whistle the Barbra Streisand song "The Way We Were," but the rights proved too expensive, so they did Camptown Races.
That would have been kind of nice. I mean, they bought a Pat Benatar song and a Divinyl song, so maybe they cashed those out. They could afford a little Streisand.
Well, especially if it's just somebody whistling something for 5 seconds. Anyway.
That could have been like what was the John Denver song in Final Destination?
Oh, right,
Almost Heaven. Yeah,
it was not. It was not Take Me Home, Country Roads. Anyway, Stephanie's mother, or Stephanie, Jill Schoelen's mother, was played by Shelley Hack, who's only 16 years older than her, and Terry O'Quinn played her stepfather, who's only 11 years older.
Oh, what? He was only 11 years older? Oh my God. He was pretty fit. And we know because we saw him naked.
He was pretty fit. It was kind of shocking.
He was pretty fucking fit. He was a lean, mean machine.
It wasn't Stanley Tucci
do some damage
level.
With his hammer.
It wasn't Stanley Tucci level, but it was still kind of surprising.
Who is? He's too tall.
Yeah.
When you're shorter, you get you can really bulk out versus tall people. Terry looks like he's tall.
That's true. Earlier in the movie, Jerry refers to his daughter as Jill.
Yes.
And the little girl goes, "You said your daughter's name was Stephanie." Jill's actually, as we know, the name of the actress who played Stephanie. So I don't know if it was an accident and the little girl just improvised something. Unclear.
Well, little sass girl, it's possible for people to have more than one child.
Absolutely. So shut your trap. Let's go talk about the cast and crew, shall we?
Do.
Let's see. This was directed by Joseph Rubin. You know him from such things as Dreamscape in 1984.
Yeah.
Sleeping with the Enemy, 1991.
Oh, I saw that one.
Stepfather in 1987. And The Good Son in 1993 with Macaulay Culkin as the bad son. Did you ever see that one, The Good Son?
God, it sounds familiar.
It's with Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin, and it's something like Elijah Wood is like the good next door
Dude,
neighbor's
I
son.
think I saw this. Yeah, yeah. The other kid's getting him blamed for stuff.
Right. He's like the bad seed is basically what
He's
Macaulay
the
Culkin is.
bad bean, as we called it. Fantastic. Which we have not recorded the bad seed.
We have not added to the list.
I think I watch it once a year, every year. It's always on.
Terry O'Quinn played Jerry Blake and other names as well, actually.
Yes.
You know him from 120 episodes as John Locke on Lost.
What was his character on Lost? I never saw it.
John Locke.
No, baby, I mean...
He was a guy, well, if you never saw it, I could describe some things, but it wouldn't really matter to you. He was a guy who the reveal was he was in a wheelchair in his past life, but after crash landing on the island, somehow he could walk. And that's, we don't know why. And we never find out why.
Scam.
No,
that's nice.
He was able to walk. I don't know if he was a scammer. He was also in Stepfather in 1987. He was in Young Guns in 1988.
I feel I saw that.
He was in The Rocketeer playing Howard Hughes in 1991.
No, never saw that.
He was in a ton of things. He actually lamented. He thought the Stepfather, when they were casting the role, they wanted a name actor. And of course, no name actors wanted to play that role of being the murderer. And he was kind of bummed because it didn't really give him like a boost to his career playing the Stepfather, even though he's very, very good in it.
Right.
Let's see. Jill Sholin played Stephanie Main. You know her from such things as The Stepfather in 1987, Cutting Class in 1989, Babes in Toyland TV movie in 1986, The Phantom of the Opera, the non-musical version starring Robert Englund as the Phantom in 1980.
The non-music version. Boo!
Boo! Let's see. Who else we got here? Shelley Hack played Susan. You know her from such things as Annie Hall. She was a street stranger.
Street stranger. I want that on my resume. I'm writing that down. Street stranger.
1977. She was in The Stepfather, 1987. She was in Troll in 1986. Not Troll 2, I'm sad to say. She was in The King of Comedy in 1980.
Dude, that's right. She was like one of the secretaries. I have to tell you, if you have not seen The King of Comedy, it's amazing. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I'm familiar with it. It's Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro.
Exactly, about crazy and Sandra Bernhardt's in it. No, it's amazing. Absolutely. You have to see it. It's all psycho.
And she was in 25 episodes of Charlie's Angels playing Tiffany Wells. So, very sad.
Womp.
Stephen Shellen played Jim Ogilvy, the brother-in-law trying to track down what happened. You know him from such things as A River Runs Through It in 1992.
I did see it.
Gone in 60 Seconds in 2000.
Maybe I saw it.
Very small role. The Bodyguard in 1992. And Casual Sex in 1988. It has a question mark.
Have I seen the entire career? I feel like I've seen every one of those movies. Not that I remember him in it at all.
No, he's not a big star by any stretch of the imagination. I think that's about it. Let's look at the rating, shall we? The Stepfather on Rotten Tomatoes currently has 89% fresh. How about that?
Yeah.
What do you think the audience gave it?
90.
65%.
Whoa! People inclined to watch this movie were like, not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough underage nudity, not enough blood.
Pauline Kael of The New Yorker says, The Stepfather is a cunning, shapely thriller, a beautiful piece of construction, but it could be easily overlooked because it has a placid surface that resembles B-picture banality. Okay, thank you, Pauline Kael.
Okay. It
Rod,
resembles it, or
resembles it.
Pauline Kael.
I think what she's trying to say is that it's easy to overlook its veneer and not see that it's good underneath it. I think that's what she's trying to say, which is not helpful.
She's saying it looks like it's budget, but it's actually amazing. Is that what you're telling me she's saying?
I think that's what she's trying to say. Unclear though.
All right, move on.
Roger Ebert, who has done literally every movie that we've discussed, he always has a review from the Chicago Sun-Times. Absolutely. While I was watching the film, I was distracted by elements of the idiot plot syndrome. Moments when only an idiot would have made such obvious mistakes. 2.5 out of 4.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. Now, let's turn to our resident in-house critic, AI Rex Reed. Rex, what do you have to say about 1987's The Stepfather? The Stepfather is a suburban slasher wrapped in a Hallmark card, with Terry O'Quinn delivering the year's most chilling PTA dad performance. Equal parts Father Knows Best and Fatal Attraction on a budget. Look at that. That was almost a positive review.
I'm telling you, I think that is.
So, Aaron, what is your review of The Stepfather?
It's fairly positive. There are some moments that I wished it would speed up a little bit, maybe tone down slightly his goody good dad thing. But there are moments, honestly, when he's like doing the speech at his party about how he loves his family and he's almost to tears. I mean, the man knows how to act. Let's just say
Absolutely.
the man knows how to act. So because that and the fact that I was always obsessed with the John List story, whether this is it or not, I'm going to give it a 3.75. Don't you want him to be your... I mean, let's look at it. As a stepdaddy, he got a good job. He could set up multiple houses. He's going to take your kids to whatever, their soccer practice. He's very affectionate. You just got to do what you're told. I mean,
that's just good advice.
Swipe right, kids. He may be coming to a town near you.
Absolutely.
So for that, 375.5 out of 5.
3.75.5 out of 5.
Out of 5.
Okay, fair enough. I agree. I 100% agree. It's 3.75 out of 5. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, for me to get to be a 4, it needs to be something where I'm like, ooh, I'm going to watch. I can see myself watching this a lot in the future. And I don't know if it reaches quite those heights, but I definitely agree that Terry O'Quinn is dynamite in this movie. He's really the thing about this movie that makes it.
If this was somebody else, this probably wouldn't have been as good. It would have gotten a higher rating if everyone else in the cast could have stepped it up the way he did. But they chose not. They made other choices. Casting was not his friend.
They said, no thanks. I'm going to mail this one in. So, such is life. It's good. I would say it's a hair below better than good. It's not great. It's not great, but it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable.
And it's surprising because I really thought it was going to be trash.
Correct. It has that thing where you're like, this must be crap. Oh, it's actually not bad. So there it is. Check it out. Any last thoughts on The Stepfather?
I still don't understand how he's in Stepfather 2. Is it just the same cycle and you're waiting for him to glitch again?
I looked it up. It starts with him in a mental asylum, evidently recovered from his wounds.
After they pulled the knife out of his heart, they stitched it back. Or maybe it was a Frankenstein and they put an Abby Normal heart in there. And
maybe they did. Unclear. Anywho, so thank you very much. You can find us all across the social media landscape. We're on Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, Instagram. You can watch us on YouTube. You can email us the podcast that wouldn't die at Gmail.
Gmail.
We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Won't you?
Won't you please?
Aaron, what is your social media situation?
I got some media, and that is I am the curator for our TikTok account, the podcast that wouldn't die. My personal media is I'm on the Instagram. I am the Cult of Aaron. Join the cult. I also have artwork on Artsy First Dibs, Aaron Doherty. See anything you like? I'll sell it to you. Drop me a line. Only for that.
Only for that. No direct messages. As you know, we like to include our friends and family's thoughts and feelings across the social media landscape. What do we got, Aaron? What are the streets saying?
Tammy McDuckin wrote in about the new Ari Aster film, Eddington, and wanting to know if I had heard anything about it. And I have to say, I'm hearing very mixed reviews. I'm hearing either it's pure crap, or I hear the opposite, and it's genius. Have you heard anything about that?
It's funny. My wife and I have movie passes. So we've seen basically everything. And there's one movie that's in theaters that we have not seen, and that is Eddington, which I've heard
Go
nothing
see it.
about. I did not know it was Ari Aster. You
It's
saying
Ari
it's
Aster.
makes me
Yes.
now want to see it. I think we almost saw it yesterday, but
It's about a small town during COVID and the personalities about how they're self-destructing.
I've been down the Ari Aster road, and it's always very upsetting. So it's not,
It is
not my jam.
upsetting, but it's always good, though.
It's definitely well made. I just don't know if it's my jam, if I'm being honest.
Go, and tell me about it. I'll have to. I don't even think it's playing in Bakersfield. It's not allowed.
Okay, fair enough. Next week, we are doing the psychological thriller Marathon Man, starring Dustin Hoffman, Sir Laurence Olivier, you got Roy Scheider, you got William Devane. It's an all-star cast.
It's another one of those movies where you are like Silence of the Lambs and such, where is it a thriller or is it horror? Or are there elements in it that are horrific?
Right. Well, and I'm going to talk about this more on the episode, but I first heard of it because I was watching this DVD, a horror movie compilation called Terror in the Isles, and they would cut to those scenes with Sir Laurence Olivier and the dentist chair.
Is it safe?
Is it safe? Absolutely. So how can you watch Marathon Man? Well, it's on Fubo, it's on Paramount Plus, it's on MGM Plus, Philo. If you want to buy it or rent it, then you're going to pay some real money. It's on Apple TV for $3.99, Paramount.
I had to go to a couple of different things, and finally I had to do the free 7-day sign up, which I have to hurry up and cancel before I forget. That's how they scam you.
Right. It's Amazon Prime you have to pay. The good thing is I already own it. So the good times had by all. So check that out. Send in your favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and we may talk about it on the show. So thank you very much, and be well.
Be well, children.